normal operation. Ladies and gentlemen, these two guys are very, very fucking funny. Not just saying that, I have seen them. They've both been in comedy here in St. John for a few years and are one of the more popular acts. And ladies and gentlemen, the first roaster is Dan McCarthy. Dan, come on up here. Grab that microphone on your way by. And the notorious insult comic in St. John, ladies and gentlemen, happy fun giver, Mr. Arif Hussain. Okay, gentlemen, you know the rules, all below the belt, and there's that goddamn toonie. All right. Heads or tails, McCarthy?
Tails.
Here we go. Tails it is, your choice.
Arif, go first.
Whoa.
All right, Downs McCarthy. Dan's a man full of contradictions. His face might say tiki torches in Charlottesville, but he has the personality of a closeted teenager.
Okay. The only reason Arif hasn't joined ISIS is because they wouldn't let him in because he looks like he lacks the upper body strength to hold up a severed head. Gain some weight, motherfucker. Hit the Allahu snack bar.
Alright, yes!
Dan, I might be a suspected jihadist, but it is only your comedy that'll drive me to suicide. Dan works at a tire store, but he's not very good at his job because the tires remain deflated while his ego remains inflated. Dan considers himself the one-line comedy king of St. John, mainly because he never got to hear the one line, "I'm proud of you, son."
That's damn good. For those of you who aren't aware, Arif is actually a substitute roaster. He got knocked out in the first round. I was actually supposed to be roasting somebody else today, but that's going to occur next month. But it's a real shame that Arif got booted so early from the competition, because as you can see, we've got like $60, maybe $80 in prize money right there, and Arif's looking at that shit like, God damn, that's more than my paternal grandparents paid for my mom.
All right, Macho Man Blandy Savage. Dan is a big fan of pro wrestling, mainly because a painkiller addiction put his father in a chokehold.
Damn, son. Damn. All right. He did die of asphyxiation and painkillers were involved, okay? I assure you, he did way more than one line. It killed him. Still one more fucking joke here, people. Now, Arif makes a lot of intellectual posts on Facebook, and it's really cool that you can actually tell which ones are copied and pasted because they have punctuation. But I think you should have to turn in your intellectual card, though, Arif, because you got bested in a joke writing contest about a month ago by a guy who just stood here and mocked feminism for 10 minutes while drinking a beer that his wife bought for him. That's it?
That's it?
I think so.
That's it.
That's a lot. Everybody, wasn't that a great round?
Great job, guys. Jesus Christ. Remind me never to sign up for a roast battle in St. John. That's that St. John attitude I was telling you about. Ladies and gentlemen, Arif Hussain and Dan McCarthy. And did I leave my goddamn toonie on the table again? What do you think, Steve?
Let's give it to Eric for a sec while I look at my notes. All right, so I drew a son with a penis. I don't know. I don't have this.
points.
We need better judges.
I know, but I mean, holy crap! Wow, and then another tough one. I gotta say,
That's so tough.
He had some, but I think I gotta go with Arif. I think he went there. He just
You
went.
Arif? Yeah. Okay. That's fair. I can't. Man, this is a hard one to call. Why did you pick Arif overall?
Well, that thing there, I think that was really below the belt, and depending where the belt was, but
Yeah, like you won't even say where the belt was. For those of you who aren't aware, Dan McCarthy's father committed suicide, so to let you know how low that was, that's just about as fucking low as I can imagine. But that's what I've come to expect from Arif Hussain. Way worse than ISIS, in my opinion. I'm smiling when I say it. It's got to be a joke. But yeah, you're giving your point to Arif,
Exactly,
and rightfully so. Very funny performance by Arif Hussain.
Maybe to go get the confession from Brian.
Yes, that's right. Okay, and now Steve Fudge is going to chime in with his vote.
Well, first, I wanted to originally give it to Shane for the term happy fun giver.
Okay.
When introducing Arif, which was
Isn't he a ray of sunshine?
but I believe we're not allowed to give it to you.
Yeah, that's right.
You weren't technically on this roast.
Right.
Impartial
Thank
motherfucker.
God.
Here's the problem: is that I gave them both the same amount of points exactly for the jokes. So I had to go with.
You have to pick one.
So then I toppled over to Arif because of the dad suicide joke was
Right.
really fucking good. But then I gave it back to Dan for the humility and the extra joke that came with the humility because I was fucking funny when he got heckled by the audience and had a good line to retort back with. And then he toppled it just a little bit further with the extra roast of his previous roaster.
Okay, so what are you saying?
Dan.
Dan. One for Dan, one for Arif. Once again, I've got to do the tiebreaker, and this is like so difficult. I thought I'd just come here on a Sunday and drink a beer, but apparently I've got to make these hard decisions because, man, like, it was so good. Like, right out of the gate, Arif with the Downs McCarthy line. He's got a personality of a teenager. Yeah, your comedy suicide. What is it? Tire store deflated, ego inflated. And he's a one-liner king because the one line he never heard from his dad was "I'm proud of you, son." Like, these are kicks in the dick. Like, everything I heard from Arif was like, oh. Comedy's the art of surprise, and he's mastered. I was like, oh my god, I couldn't handle it. It was great. I'm such a fan. Even babies are crying here after Arif got off stage. Blandy Savage, and then the chokehold that your father was in the painkiller addiction. Jesus Christ. Dan McCarthy came out strong. Arif and ISIS, it's just like a racist. See, I told you racism was funny, and nobody believes a white guy when he says it. It's not funny, okay? I have a compulsion to say the wrong thing. All I do is think about shit that I can say that's wrong all day. What is it? Body strength. It lacks the body strength to hold up a severed head. Like, that is fucking classic. It's so good. Substitute roaster, $68 of prize money the paternal grandfather paid for your parents or whatever. Very funny. Way more than one line killed him. That was the line that Dan got it back to me, because like I didn't know if Dan was going to burst into tears, and then he just went, yeah, and he said, "Who's the one line king now?" Some lady shouted out, and then he goes, "Oh, it was way more than one line that killed him." Like, that fucking resonated with me. Loved it. Facebook prostitution and how did it? What is this? I forget. My notes are scratchy. Jesus Christ.
Detailed as fuck, don't lie.
Dude, I'm telling. This is the hardest decision I've ever have to make. Like, I feel like flipping a coin.
It's Aura's birthday. The day before 9/11, big shocker.
Oh man, what do I do? You know what? I'm judging. I get to fucking determine this, and I know you guys don't like my opinion necessarily. So what I'm gonna do, this is my choice. I can do that. I can do whatever the fuck I want, right, Matt? I'm gonna give it to the audience applause. So who thinks that Arif Hussain should win the roast battle? It's a good response. Now who thinks Dan McCarthy should win the roast battle? That did not help! Dan's clapping for himself. Flip a coin? It's that close, guys. It's that close, and I am gonna do that. I know that's weak. Oh, Travis has a...
Would anyone be down for overtime?
One more fucking round to see who's really the king? You guys up for it? The gloves come off, nothing else prepared. What do you think they'll do, ladies and gentlemen? Here come Arif Hussain and Dan McCarthy.
Go ahead. You go first? Go ahead, Dan. Alright, he needs something to fucking work with, apparently. No, I mocked Arif a lot earlier for using a lot of racial stereotypes, and that's not cool, because Arif actually always constantly works really hard to break down racial stereotypes. Like, one of the big racial stereotypes about brown people is that they're cheap, but not Arif. No, he didn't even skimp on his daughter's circumcision. Go for it, bud.
All right, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Dan, if comedy was a competition, you'd be in the Special Olympics.
Alright, that's all. That's good enough. And to be fair, just when people are judging, I've used that joke on Arif before. I just wasn't expecting to have to do this shit, just in the interest of fairness. Alright. But vote for me anyway, some of y'all know I'm fucking funnier, come on.
Okay, that didn't help. But you got to realize they literally came up here with nothing but their minds, you know, and that wasn't good. So now I'm roasting both of you. What am I doing? Anyway, I'm going to do the audience applause thing one more time, ladies and gentlemen. Dan McCarthy. Ladies and gentlemen, Arif Hussain. Ladies and gentlemen, Arif Hussain won the battle. Great competition. That was